It's been quite some time since we made a video like this one where we talk about upcoming features that are all coming in what looks to be one update. Specifically, it was all the way back to Chrome OS 70, and that particular version of the OS was being prepped for this device, the Pixel Slate. And while that update didn't really come off that well and it was kind of rocky and there were all kinds of software problems, it felt rushed and like they put everything together real quick right at the end, right before this device came out. But the stuff we're going to show you today is a bunch of stuff that's actually been in the works for quite a few months now and still won't be coming out till early May. So we want to go through and show you both on tablet and in desktop mode how Chrome OS is looking to change with version 82 come early May. Today's video is brought to you by NordVPN, and they're the VPN of choice for millions of consumers because they're awesome at what they do. That is keeping your browsing safe and secure, whether you're at home or out and about at a coffee shop. If you'd like to learn more about them and their service, head over to chromeunboxed.com/NordVPN and you can learn more and get started today. Before we get started though, I do want to preface all of this by saying not everything we talk about today is ironclad going to show up in 82. It probably will, and it all is tracking that way that we would see it happen in early May. But some things get pushed back and things don't work out from time to time. It's also to say that just because we're only going to talk about a handful of things and these things that we know are happening and we can see them and play with them and show you them, it doesn't mean that these are the only things that are going to be happening with Chrome OS 82. It just means these are the ones that we can get our hands on and that we have found so far. So there's likely going to be more features that'll be rolling out. So enough of that. Let's dig in and show you some of the new stuff. Okay, so full disclosure, we're going to start with the out-of-box experience, and we wanted to do this with the Slate because there are quite a few changes with the tablet version of the out-of-box experience, starting with this whole thing here, introducing a new way to navigate with gestures. There's nothing here that works or does anything. Hopefully Get Started is going to do something, but again, I've not gone through the entire thing with the tablet mode. We did all of this with the Pixelbook Go, so let's see what happens. Okay, yeah, it's going to show some gestures, which is cool. So flick up. Is it going to have me do it? No. See, like the Pixel phones, for instance, make you actually do this stuff in order to kind of graduate to the next thing. So yeah, swipe up and hold. So this is already getting into some of the stuff that we're going to talk about with multitasking and the way that stuff has changed in tablet mode. And then go back is going to be dragged in from the left. Cool. That's a fun little thing. So past that initial setup with the gestures and that kind of walkthrough, you're met with the basic how to get the most out of your Chromebook, and this stuff hasn't changed a whole lot. However, we have seen on a handful of devices like the Pixelbook Go, there's a whole new reworking of this out-of-box experience. You can read about it over on the website. I'm sure they will navigate that over to here. But on the Pixelbook Go, obviously you didn't get the tablet feature walkthrough, so I'm sure they're in the process of merging those two things together. It's basically this information, but it's presented in kind of a card format where you can actually click those cards and kind of go through the task and say, yeah, I've done it. It's not done yet. It is definitely not finished, but it looks like it's on its way to Chrome OS 82. But while we're talking about those multitasking features, if I swipe up and hold, boom, I've got multitasking going. From here, I can drag. We can resize. Well, if the app supports it. Yep, so that one does. And then we can swipe up to go back to multitasking, swipe up to go home. While you're in a particular app, a small swipe up kind of gives you your tray here. And again, swipe up, hold, goes to multitasking. And we can jump in and out of different apps that way and go back home. So they've completely overhauled this. And you'll also notice that when we have the window fully open, the back button, the home button are gone. So they expect you, if you go, so say we go here, and you want to go back, there's no back button anymore. I mean, it's still there in the browser, but inside of an app or anything like that, they're expecting you to use this kind of swipe in gesture to go back, and they're expecting you to use the swipe up gestures to multitask while you're in tablet mode. And we've talked about those in a video before. We'll link that description below where we go a little bit more into depth into some of these things, but just know that the overall tablet navigation UI is completely changed for Chrome OS 82. Another change that's on the way in 82 is the way that tabs are handled in Google Chrome, so your actual browser. As you can tell, there's no tab strip up here that we normally would have on the desktop, and it's nice because it makes the tablet feel a little more spacious and right up to the top. The cool thing is whenever you go to your tab switcher, it's all going to be up here now. So if you open up, say, let's see if we can open this in a new tab. then we'll see that over here and click there. You can just pull this down now, which is really nice. That's just a really cool feeling thing. Swipe that down, boom, jump over to that next tab. You can long press these guys and rearrange them, and you can swipe them up to get rid of them and close them down. So very cool new thing going on with tab strips. And then additionally, out of the box, we've talked about this before, but it has just shown up in 82, so we're assuming it's going to make its way around in 81 or 82 as well, is this new extensions manager. So the extension menu that you see up here, this little puzzle piece, it's been around in different flags and all that kind of stuff for a while, but what it does basically is it hides all your extensions kind of in one place so that it doesn't take up all this real estate up here. But if you want some of those up there for one-touch access, you just click the little pin, and boom, they just show up there, unclick the pin, and then they're gone. And you actually can get your basic stuff that you would normally get by right-clicking it, by hitting that three-dot menu if you want to remove it, or you want to pin it, or you want to manage that extension. The normal stuff you would get from a right-click is right there in the three-dot menu. So you've kind of got this nice little quick way that you can deal with your extensions right up there in Chrome. And again, we've seen this before, but it looks like it's going to show up out of the box in Chrome OS 82. Another app that's getting a huge overhaul here is the Files app. So when we go into the Files app now, if you recall, the Files app had a huge blue bar at the top and then a lighter blue bar underneath that and a gray background over here. And we've seen that completely now replaced with just this whitewashed, very modern material design 2.0 kind of look. So all our icons are all changed out. All of the highlights are all kind of pill shaped. Again, everything is just whitewashed and there's no different functionality here. So everything's in the same place. We can sort over here. We can choose thumbnail or list view as well. You know, you've got these nice pill shaped highlights on each piece, but overall, this thing isn't doing anything different. There's no different functionality here. It's just we're getting a full overhaul of the Files app. It looks great. It feels like it fits in. You know, if I go to my settings, like this looks like it goes together now. So the settings look very much like, let's actually, you know what? Let's use some multitasking here. The settings in the Files app actually kind of look like they belong together now. I mean, the icons line up, the fonts line up, the colors of the fonts line up, the whiteness of everything on the screen lines up with Google's current way of building and making things. And so it's a welcome addition. It's a welcome change because when it comes to operating systems, you're really talking about your notifications and your settings, and this settings, your files, and that's really about it when it comes down to it as far as the parts of the OS that all need to kind of feel cohesive. And so the Files app has long needed an overhaul. Looks like it's going to get it in 82. Finally, and briefly, we want to talk about one small change that I feel like makes a big difference, especially for new users, and it's the way that the uninstall dialog works whenever you go to take an app off of your Chromebook. And this is important because Chromebooks can install apps from all kinds of places. So we have Android apps, we have PWAs, we have web apps, we have Linux apps, and because of this, we get a different dialog whenever we go to uninstall an app. So if you uninstall a web app, it's going to ask you if you want to remove this from Chrome. For people who have been around Chrome OS for a long time, we realize that's taking it off of the device. But for new users, they're looking for uninstall language, and maybe seeing that's going to be confusing. So what Google's done is just made this uninstall across the board. So whether I choose an Android app and long press it, uninstall, or I do a web app, uninstall, and the language is the same. Uninstall Google News, and here, if I click uninstall, uninstall Playbooks, you get the same message, the same kind of holistic thing, this same way of going about deleting apps. And again, it's about taking these steps to make the experience better for new users so that the entire thing, even though we're pulling apps and stuff from all these different places, the entire thing feels more cohesive and more straightforward. And one last thing before you go, if you haven't already, make sure and either head over to the website or go down to click the link in the description and enter our On the Run to 100K giveaway. We are still going to be giving away a Pixel 4 at 95,000 subscribers and an Asus Chromebook Flip C434 at 100,000 subscribers. If you've already entered this, you are still eligible to win those prizes, but we can't give them away until we hit 95 and 100,000 subscribers respectively. So make sure you're sharing this stuff out, share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it on social media so that we can hit those goals and give those prizes away. But that's been it for this one, guys. If you liked it, go down and hit the subscribe button, make sure and hit the like button, and hit the notification bell as well if you'd like to be alerted when we make future videos just like this one. Till next time, we'll see you.